Traversing the Pure Land Path. In chapter on transformed Buddha bodies and lands, Shinran takes an attitude toward other teachings that differs markedly from that of his master Honen. Honen's pioneering achievement in founding the Pure Land Path in Japan is epitomized by his term senjaku, which implies selecting out the right path or practice, that is, both adoption of one's practice and rejection of all others. While this term applies fundamentally to Amida Buddha's establishment of his vows to save all beings, we see the working of this principle from the stance of beings in the following passage by Honen, which guides practicers in the course of determining the essential path from among various alternatives. Quote, "If you desire to free yourself quickly from birth and deaths, of the two excellent teachings, leave aside the path of sages, and, choosing, enter the Pure Land way. If you desire to enter the Pure Land way, of the two methods of practice, right and sundry, cast aside all sundry practices, and, choosing, take the right practice. If you desire to perform the right practice of the two kinds of acts, true and auxiliary, further put aside the auxiliary, and, choosing, solely perform the act of true settlement. The act of true settlement is to say the name of the Buddha." Close quote. The process depicted here has been characterized as putting aside, or discarding, and establishing, or adopting. There are 2 points to be noted here. First, according to Honen, traversing the path requires the rejection of ineffective teachings and practices, which can serve merely as distractions that delay entrance into the only authentic way to enlightenment. Second, the proper choice at each juncture can be made on the basis of a proper understanding of Amida's intent in the primal vow and of the present state of the world, including one's own nature. For Shinran, however, the heart of the path lies in the realization of Shinjin, which, since it is a profound transformation that entails the falling away of attachment to one's own capability of attaining enlightenment, can never be the result of an intellectual decision based on a conceptual understanding of doctrine. He therefore seeks to refine and reformulate the process outlined by Honen, and he does this by recognizing the significance of other Pure Land teachings as temporary, provisional means that, by way of contrast, illuminate the true path, and that engage those practicers who cannot enter immediately into the entrusting that is other power. Thus, other teachings are seen not simply as ineffectual, or no longer appropriate to the human condition, but also as the Buddha's devices established out of great wisdom and compassion. This is not merely a restructuring of the elements that Honen presents, but a development that lays bare the inner transformation experienced by the practicer in the Pure Land Path. Through his shift from a perspective of, quote, discarding and adopting to one of, quote, provisional means, Shinran is able to bring into clear focus his conception of the realization of Shinjin as the negation of self-power and attainment of the Buddha's mind, and further to distinguish it sharply from other types of Pure Land practice.